I want to share with you what I believe the Bible teaches us is the secret of causing those walls in our life to crumble, those obstacles, those immovable things, those strongholds in our life to finally have no power and completely be a pile of rubble that we could just walk out of and walk around or walk into, or it won't faze us anymore. And I believe the secret is in Joshua chapter 6. And can you imagine the walls of Jericho, their enemy inside, and they're to take that city, that stronghold, what's the obstacle of them getting to the promised land? And the Lord tells them to walk around the city. I could just imagine, this is a city they're walking around. I could imagine how exhausted they were. I could imagine maybe their minds thinking, why are we doing this? I don't understand. Just different things, different scenarios go through my mind that could be happening at that time. And I'm sure they got weary, but they had to be obedient. For those walls to come down, they had to be obedient. And I believe that's the secret to our walls coming down, is simply knowing the Word of God and what He desires for us to do and walk in it. And sometimes some of the things that He desires us to do doesn't make sense to us in the natural. Some things just doesn't add up. But if His Word says it, then we need to walk in it and trust His love. And they did that. They walked around that city. And I believe that every step of obedience that they walked was causing that wall, without them realizing it, to start to shake. Every step of obedience. I'm so glad they didn't give up and get weary. I'm so glad they didn't say, this isn't working. The wall's just too strong. This is crazy. I'm not going to do this no more, and go try to do it their own way. But they held on to the word of the Lord and did exactly what He told them to do. And on that seventh day, the Lord said, shout. They had to walk 7 times, I believe, on the seventh day, even more. They were probably thinking, I'm exhausted, Lord. I can't take this no more. Something has to give. Cause these walls to come down. And the Lord said, shout. Shout that shout of victory. And when they shouted the shout of victory, it was like an earthquake, because those walls came crashing down. They didn't have to touch the wall. They didn't have to hammer the wall. They didn't have to chisel it. They didn't have to do nothing to the wall. All they had to do was obey God. And that wall came down. That spoke volumes to me in my heart. All we have to do is obey the Lord. Do all that you know to do, and then stand therefore in His word and His promises. Keep doing what you know to do in the word. Seek His word and find out, God, what is it that you want me to do in this circumstance? It would be easy to take what they did to Jericho and say, well, I'm just going to walk around this situation, and I'm just going to shout, I'm just going to claim the victory. But is that what the Lord wants you to do at that time? What is it that He's asking for us to do in that moment, in that situation? To be sensitive to Him, and even when it seems like it goes completely against our grain. Do I really have to go up to that person and ask for forgiveness? Do I really have to forgive that person? Do I really have to do this in this situation? But if we're willing to humble ourselves and say, God, what is it that you would want me to do? I need to obey. I want to obey in relationship with you. See, methods and formulas and culture and all this stuff is kind of easy, because we just do it and we just expect when we do it, but it's not a relationship. We're kind of like cut off from relationship. We're just doing the formula. But when we have to seek the Lord and find out what is it that you would have me to do, and in that obey and not give up and not get weary in well-doing, we can see, because that's the secret of the walls coming down, we will rejoice because God caused those walls to come down. Every step of obedience that we take is causing those walls to shake. Don't give up. God bless.